还好，真的很有先生非常有用啊，我现在感觉因为听到外国人比较这样子，所以这个最少让大家对，但是
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the France Taiwan Smart City Forum. So please take your seat. We're going to start in less than 1 minute. Thank you. So welcome again, my name is Laurent, I'm the Vice President of France Taiwan. We are very happy to have all of you here today, and I will have to extend a special thanks to our partners and sponsors, starting with La French Tech, who is sponsoring this event in France, with our great partner Business France. We'll also make a presentation later. And we have an unexpected technical partner. This is a company called DB Smart, and they have lent us this 365-degree camera here, just here, and you can have a live streaming of this event for free. So thank you very much for this great camera. This is called Rogy360. It is a Taiwanese startup that we just met yesterday next to our booth. So we are very happy to have the French office with us today. This is Anna Berner, the Economic Counselor of the French office in Taipei, who is going to give a welcome address. So please welcome Mr. Anna Berner. Thank you.
Dear Laetitia, Laurent, Thibault, and all members of the French Tech Taiwan, honorable guests, I'm very happy to open this new French Tech Taiwan event today during the Smart City Summit and Expo on this particular topic: how can innovation improve our lives in the city? So I would like to just say a few words of introduction on the smart city situation in France. The first point I would like to stress is that there is no national policy on smart cities in France. At least 25 cities in France have already launched smart city policy, and most of the time they have done this by catching up with earlier initiative of local private players. The smart city is then an agglomeration of local initiatives taken by private and public players. However, the French national authorities are still playing a leading role through legislative work, which has been done during the past decades to create a friendly environment allowing for the development of smart city initiatives. For instance, the law on energy transition allows the data related to energy consumption to become public, and to be used by apps developed by private players. My second point is about urban DNA. In Europe and in France in particular, cities have very long histories, and smart city applications are usually indeed linked to the DNA of each city. Smart city initiatives aim at preserving the heritage of the past and transmit it to the next generation with deeper knowledge and better understanding. The city of Nice, for instance, in south of France, is promoting smart city services in order to make it more attractive to travelers as it is an international destination for tourism. Other cities which have had an industrial path, for instance, are looking more to attract new industries or high added value services. My third point is that smart city initiatives focus entirely on citizen expectations and needs. Several cities in France have created collective platforms allowing the citizen to ask questions directly to the mayor or to his team in order to improve the living environment in the community. And this is in particular the case in Rennes, the city where I am from, and citizens are getting involved in the decision-making process locally to participate in local policy to improve the environment in their daily lives, and it works actually very well. To give you another example, the city of Nantes is very well known also for its app Nantes in my pocket, not in my poche, in English, which provides more than 40 different information access points to local citizens about the weather, traffic jam, cultural activities. Last but not least, smart city policy also aims to develop to the development of the local economy through the creation of new startups and jobs, and most of the time by building what we call eco-district. Issy-les-Moulineaux, which is a city close to Paris, is a shining example of this economic dynamic created around the concept of smart city. When the new mayor at that time launched this policy in 1995, so quite a long time ago, the city was economically poor and underdeveloped. One of the main targets of this smart city initiative was to promote energy saving by all means. And the city aimed to reduce energy consumption by 65% by 2030. Today, it generates more energy than it needs, and it has become one of the top innovation hubs in France today. So therefore, I wish you all a great success to your discussion, and I would like to add that we are very happy, me and my colleague Odile, want to be here today with you because during the past few years, we have been promoting smart city, cooperation between France and Taiwan in smart city, and there is the Industrial Cooperation Committee, Industrial Cooperation Meeting, ICCM, under the Ministry of Economic Affairs, and in France, the Directorate General of Enterprise, under the Ministry of Economy, Finance, and Recovery. So this event today, organized by the French Taiwan and Business France, is for us a very good follow-up, and I'm very happy to see so many participants. So thanks a lot for joining this event today, and I'll be very interested to listen to your presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Alain. It's a very interesting and complete presentation of Smart City Ecosystem in France, and a really great introduction to my own presentation. I'm going to show you a few key figures about La French Tech and about Smart City projects in France. So again, I'm Laurent, Vice President of La French Tech Taiwan. It's very bright. So what is La French Tech? Again, vibrant ecosystem of tech startups, all based headquartered in France. initially launched by the government together with the public and private sector in 2014 as a global brand for French technological startup. So it's a government-backed movement, but it's private sector-led initiative. So the government provides a lot of support, but then it's the private sector who does the work really to develop all those startups. So that project supports startups through various initiatives. First in investment with our public bank, BPI France. There is a 5 billion investment plan for startups, for AI, for a lot of technology development in France who started 2 years ago. There was 400 million euro found to provide seed funding to deep tech startups in France. 200 million euro funds for accelerators, so they can invest in startups that they find interesting. And we provide around 20 million euro of grants to startups every year. So those grants are around 30k euro that we give to early stage startups. We also foster and nurture talents, which is a key of the success of all our startups. Provide French Tech visa to foreign entrepreneurs, so any Taiwanese entrepreneur or investor can get a 4 years visa to work and live in France. French Tech Templin is to help defavorized urban areas to develop more startups and CEOs. And that French Tech job board is something we established locally, which publishes thousands of jobs in French Tech startups worldwide. So it's a free job board, so feel free to have a look. In our booth next door, we have a big roll-up with a QR code, and you can access the job board. Market reach, I mentioned La French Tech is a branding, so we branded what we think the most, the startup was the biggest growth potential were selected, so it is the next 40, and also the FT 120, and those startups benefited much more support and help and exposure from the French government and from the French Tech Initiative. Last but not least, we are a global network. As of today, there are 108 French Tech international communities, including Taiwan, which was one of the first to be accredited by the French state. So La French Tech in numbers, as of today, there are almost 23,000 tech startups in France. They cover everything, any sectors. As long as it is technology, deep tech, digital, they are part of the ecosystem. Among which are 26 unicorns as of today, if I'm not wrong. And this corresponds to, I forgot to correct that, close to 1 million now direct job created by the startup. So I think in 2019, President Macron said it would be great to have 25 unicorns by 2025. Well, we have 26 in 2022, so we're very proud to see this also growing every day. A proof of that is the amount of money which has been raised by French startups, French tech companies over the year. 2016, 2 years after La French Tech is launched, all tech companies in France raised 2.2 billion euros. 5 years later, it's multiplied by 5, close to 11.5 billion euros has been raised by the French tech startups. And what is interesting to know is that tickets put to those companies are bigger and bigger. 4 years ago, you would see 1 million, 2 million euros invested in companies, tech companies. Nowadays, it's 100, 200 million euros, 300 million euros invested in one ticket in French companies. So definitely more and more attractiveness and potential for the French tech startup ecosystem. So what is this ecosystem? I mentioned the French Tech 120 and X40. There are high growth potential companies that become global fast or already global. And in red, I put some of the unicorn we have. So those startups beneficiate for maximum support from the French tech, for the government, but also from the French tech communities abroad. If you take those 120 companies alone, They created in total 233,000 jobs in France, direct or indirect. As of today, 53% of the French population is using at least once a month one innovation created by those 120 companies. Also, they are contributing to about 6% of the growth of the GDP. It's not 6% of the GDP, it's 6% of the growth from year to year, and also contribute to 14% of the growth of the French export of services and goods. So it's really a great achievement and a proof that this initiative is really working, and there is a very positive dynamics which is quite sustainable. Out of Smart City, Anna mentioned a few projects already, so this is very one slide to show you what is happening on a high level. 27 smart cities are really on the front line, among which 25, as Anna mentioned, have already set up some smart PMO offices in their cities. And so you have also, for example, Grenoble, which is, it doesn't work, okay. Pascal Tamiafam is here, Grenoble, okay. The size of the circle is the size of the population. And 27 cities, and you have on the right which kind of project they are focusing on. Mostly open data. I think cities are very interested in getting data from energy consumption, transportation, etc. to offer better services. Public Wi-Fi, so this service offers to citizens. Smart grids, obviously sustainable development and ecological transition are keys. Open governance as well, like in Taiwan, smart public lighting, and you name it. So this is an interesting view of where are the focus today of those cities. So behind that, technology being used are technologies that in those areas from friendly startup or from also big corporates as well, which often, by the way, work together. And there were last year in October, so really, 30 million euro found for pilot projects related to ecological transition, green tech, but also open data, but with a consideration, I could say, consideration for protecting personal data. Open data is very is something we should have in each city, but also protection of personal data should be key, especially when you talk about CCTV. And CCTV, very popular in Asia. Cities are using that in France, 4 out of 24. But people are scared of this and there are regulation, etc. So it's moving slowly, but there will also could have some hurdle for local company to export their solution there. But in other area, feel free to go to France, and so we will introduce to you how we can help you to go there. So thank you very much. I think I speak too fast and too long. Without further ado, I would like to invite, if I'm not wrong, Mr. Lin. He's a Vice General Manager of Glorytech, and we will talk on behalf of Taiwan Association of Smart City. So please welcome Mr. Lin. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is my pleasure, very appreciate this opportunity to come to their introduction about the Taiwan Smart City Association, the organization. And first, I would like to say sorry because originally Eric Zhang is a Vice President, Chairman of the Smart City Association, and there make a presentation. Today some personal issue, so I come to there, I present to him and explain the presentation. Okay, so this Taiwan Smart City Association is a non-profit organization for the smart city, and which is founded since 2015 until now. And we collect effort with a very diverse, very different organization, including the government, and the industry, and the university, and also research institute. The nature of the army is for sorry about this. Maybe this point not so. Okay. So it's a deployment about including the governance, also the reduction of the deployment, transportation, energy, medicine care. So there we are talking about the goals is very diverse. Okay. So this one is a major is provide including education, public health, safety, management, and the human resource deployment. Of course, the unlimited goals is go to empower the governance capability and also government increase the economic competitiveness of the city and to improve the life quality of the people through the deployment of sustainable of the smart cities. So this one is the goals from the TSCA. Of course, this one is personal portfolio from this Eric Zhang. So we are speaking very quickly because you didn't hear. And this one is the TSCA, is the activity in the past time. So as mentioned in the post, there are connection in each of the local government in Taiwan and to provide another smart city activity in Taiwan. So in the past time, so you can see another activity or the event we have the host every year in Taiwan. So this is one of the picture. And this one is, of course, why we are come here. The major topic is join the cooperation with the French cooperation. So this one, we are going to see Mr. Eden here. Okay, thank you. Okay, so this we are one event we have a host. And also, okay, we are join something activity in the French. When French present in Taiwan. And also, our activity not in Taiwan only, we also have outside go to the French. So you can see, everybody can see the side. This one to visit the ETF. ETF is one energy company in the French. So we are engaged in the ETF in the Thai Power, some kind of cooperation with us. And also join the ICC and event in the French also. And this one, the slide is last year. We have a contribution award the prize, and we have some event. So this one including every segment our mention the transportation and the governments and the local government and also something research institute. And also one is in this 2020. We can see our vice president also joined our the event, and we can see the new Taipei City, the mayor. Okay, join the Thailand City mayor come there. And more earlier, we can see from the Kaohsiung, the government, and also from the Taoyuan government is also joining our event together. So we can see one by one, year by year, this once in our activity we are doing in Taiwan. We want the connection, not promote and make one platform to information share for the smart city event in Taiwan. So this is one of the tasks. Okay, this is just showed here. But not major, I think the major is the point here. We should serve to the platform. Provide the exchange information and make a connection for every smart city event for this marketing. Especially in here, we like the connection. We have connected with the French company and the French to get their technology come to the Taiwan. One is showing very good example with a good partner. I know a lot of the talents employees here. So we have under the French presenter and the IDB, the make the successful, very successful the MOU between the talents and the foreign tech, focus on the transportation segment. So if you can see the picture in the here. And so this one is our Taiwan Smart City Association activity. Of course, this one will contain information here. We still hope that more the people and more the members and more the organizations join us. And we can make the city more smart in the future. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lin. Indeed, French and Taiwanese cooperation started a long way back, but the focus on innovation is only a few years. Mentioned Thales and Druritech will be presenting later, so maybe they can also explain a bit better what kind of technology they are using. Without further ado, please welcome on stage Mrs. Zoe Lim, who is a senior investor at Business France Taiwan, and she will introduce France as a nation of entrepreneurs. Zoe is Taiwanese, speaks perfect French, has been working in the investment field for a while, and she's really the expert who will identify projects in France in which Taiwanese companies, big or small, can invest or participate or partner with. Please welcome Zoe. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Zoe, Senior Investment Advisor at Business France. So I'm here to present today the opportunities and supports that France can offer for startups. So France is the not so new champion for investment for FDI in Europe since 2019. So for several years already, France is the most attractive country for foreign investment in Europe, and that this number doesn't come from the French government. This number is come from EY. So they are very attractive, and according to the same expert, in the long term, businesses are optimistic in Europe as an investment destination. And also, technology and the green innovation is powering the agenda for the investors in Europe. So we are very happy with this result. And what are the most attractive, sectors and activities that people are coming to invest in France? Like we are actually is in the industry and the R&D projects. So we are very proud to announce that France is the first country in Europe to host industrial project and R&D project. And in the year of 2020, 1/4 of the investment were in manufacturing. So this is something we are happy about. And when we ask our investors if they are happy, actually 70% of them have the project was for expansion. So they are happy about the investment, and they are happy about France's future economic outlook. So they all decide to expand their project. However, creation of new manufacturing was also up by 32% in 2020. Why all these investors come to France to invest? Actually, because thanks to all the reform which has been carried since 2017. So there are two big blocks of reform. The first, of course, is the macroeconomic environment reform, and we'll go with the major labor market reform. In the macroeconomic environment reform, we can talk about invest in the future industry, and also forcing human capital, government supporting this, training and formation for all the, for workers, and also more flexible rules for companies in the hiring or redundancy with their employees. And also, one of the major tax strategy is now the corporate income is down to 25% this year. So now all the companies in France, no matter the size, it's all 25% corporate tax, which brings us to a European level average. So we cannot say anymore that we pay more tax in France. Actually, it's now European average. And if you are a small and medium company, within some condition, you even only pay 15%. So it's not anymore an obstacle in France. And so if we look at more closely in the startup scene, we can see, sorry, I didn't correct my data. Actually, today we already have, 26 unicorns. But the goal that Macron set was like 25 French unicorns by 2025. But we achieved this goal, like 3 years earlier. So we are very proud with that. And what did he do? Why French become today a startup nation, a startup republic? Because the French President Macron launched a series of initiatives. The first, the world biggest, startup campus station app in France, and of course the Vivatech, that the annual event every year gather all the VC startups and investors in France. This is also the Europe biggest, VC startup event, and of course the French Tech that Laurent mentioned previously, and we have more than 10,000 startups registered today in France. And all this with, very proud, all the major unicorns. Here I have, with the timetable, with the creation of the unicorn, and of course with the next 40 and 120, like French Tech would like to support maybe tomorrow's unicorn. And then when we talk about France and startup, we have to, of course, talking about research and innovation, which are very important and crucial for France. France is the 6th in the world and the 2nd in Europe in the expenditure on R&D. So this is important. And the first leading recipient in France for R&D project investment. And the France National Scientific Research Center, CNRS, is the 2nd research organization in the world. And of course, in terms of number of patent application filed in 2020, we're number 2 in Europe. And out of 56 medals of mathematics field, we have 13 in France. And for startups, if you are Taiwanese startups, when you come to France, what kind of supports you can have from French government? You will have a special tax status for innovative new companies. That means the first year for your corporate income tax, the exemption is 100%. Basically, you don't need to pay tax. And the second year is 50%. 50% exemption. And all this can be combined. If you are doing R&D in France, you can also have 30% R&D incentive. And this 30% R&D incentive is so far the most favorable R&D tax incentive in Europe. So this is something, we're really proud of and really we want to push. And not only we give grant for R&D and tax exemption, we also have fast track, tech visa service for you. So if you come to France, you can have long stay visa. This is a simple procedure and, very easy to apply if you are a startup. You can bring your family, your team with you to come to develop your business in France. And we also have a one-stop shop called Welcome to France, help you with everything you need to settle in France. And the average time to register a company in France now is 3.5 days. So, we did a lot of, improvement. And this is, if you're a startup, you're in the middle, when you come to France, when you come to see us, this is the offer we can do for you, but we don't do it alone. As business friends, are part of the French government, we work with BPI France, we work with the Ministry of Labor, we work with our region partners, we work with our cluster to offer you financing, incentive, talent, program selection, visa. So it's a one-stop shop, offer. And then we also work very closely with Taiwanese government. If you're a Taiwanese company and you can find a French partner, the French and the Taiwanese side will provide assistance and grants to your project. So sometimes for an R&D project, you can have grants up to 50 or 60% of the total amount of your expenditure. And in France, BPI can provide very low interest grant, so rate loan. So this is some mechanism that you can also, use. And a little focus on the smart city. These are all the Taiwanese companies who has chosen France, and some of them are our client. So they are all working in France with 5G, IoT, modem solution. And at the end, I would love to invite you to come to this event, the Viva Tech, Europe's biggest startup and tech event, will take place this year in Paris, June 5th to 18th. So you're all welcome to participate. And thank you.
Thank you very much, Zoe. Thank you. Very interesting presentation, many tools to help tech companies from Taiwan to go to France. And now I'm very pleased to invite Pascal, former founder team of La France Taiwan, also CEO of UB Consulting, and today ambassador of Global Apps. We're going to introduce Global 2022 European Green Capital, with a lot of potential for smart cities and green tech Taiwanese companies. Please welcome Mr. Pascal Liu. Thank you.
Thank you, Laurent. Thanks for the introduction. I'm very happy to be here with you this afternoon. So again, I'm a city ambassador, so I represent Grenoble Alps in the French Alps, southeast of France. And usually when I present my city, I introduce it like the French Silicon Valley, or the sister city of Taiyuan in Taiwan, or the home of one of the 13 French tech capital in France. But today I will focus my talk about Grenoble as the European Green Capital for this year. So what is European Green Capital? As you see here in the picture on the left side, it's an award granted by the European Commission so it's a yearly contest. So that's why we are capital just for 1 year, 2022. And this yearly competition, this yearly contest, recognizes and rewards cities in Europe for their local efforts, so really at city level, to improve the environment, the economy, and the quality of life for the citizens. And we are very proud to be the European Green Capital this year. So there are 12 criteria to get evaluated by the jury and to get this award. I will not be able to, of course, explain all the details, but Grenoble basically ticks all the boxes. We are either number 1, number 2, and number 3 for this year. So I will just focus and give you a couple of examples on sustainable urban mobility, just for today. So, first example about sustainable urban mobility. This is quite paradoxal, but Grenoble is a very flat city. We are surrounded by mountains, and we are the most bikeable city in France. We have a strong network of bicycle lanes, but not only lanes, we have highways for bicycle, so-called bicycle highways. It's called chrono-vélo in French. And you see here, you have some pictures about how it looks like. It's really about safety, to make sure that we identify those highways. We have 4 highways for bicycle. And we have also a network of sensing sensors. See the picture here on the right side. Counting also the traffic and managing the traffic for bicycles. So this is quite unique. And we collect a lot of data, of course, and those data are available. So this is typically, you can go to this website and you can see that we have a lot of sensors around the city, and you can collect data about timing, about record of people and bicycles on those places around the city. So this is quite unique in Grenoble. The usage of bicycle is really for commuters. About 1/3 of the people going to work in Grenoble are actually going to work by bicycle or even by foot. And this is also very unique statistics in France. So this is also a way that we can innovate a lot. So classical things like, of course, micro-mobility sharing, like we have here in Taiwan, but also something not so classical, like carpooling for people who like to find some cars to go to work in Grenoble from the suburbs to downtown, for example. And this is also a way that we have a lot of startups and innovation, not only from France. We also welcome a lot of companies from abroad to deploy their solutions. So it's a real test bed for startups, for companies who would like to deploy their solution there, links to eco-mobility, links to eco-logistics as well, and everything leads to last mile delivery, for example, which is a key challenge for us. It looks like a network of MRT, but actually it's not. It's really about helping the people to commute using and sharing cars from others. And we have, of course, apps and so on. So it's a very brief talk for today. So I just want to welcome you this year to Grenoble, if you have the chance to come to our city. We have about 120 events this year just linked to this European Green Capital label. Here are a few examples. The first one is actually very interesting. It's a Sustainable Urban Logistics Forum that we organize in Grenoble. This is linked to ECLI, Eco-Logistics Organization Committee, which is chaired by Taurien. And that's why Taurien will go there. We'll be in Grenoble in May this year. We have also business matchmaking. The World Electronic Forum this year will be organized in France, in Grenoble. The Forum Taiwan, which is very dedicated also to startups and investment. And last but not least, we are hoping and we are planning to have a delegation from Grenoble in November this year, led by our president and mayor, Mr. Ferrari. And we hope that we can also meet you again with the delegation in November. So thank you a lot, and see you soon in Grenoble.
Thank you very much, Pascal. For the last keynote of today, we're very glad to have an old friend of the French office in Taipei and La France Taiwan, Mrs. Karen Hu, who is the General Director of the Department of Information Technology in Taiwan City Government, utilizing innovation and technology to further transform Taiwan into a sustainable and smart city. She also pioneered Smart Taiwan, incorporating a gender lens into smart city policy and city design for a more diverse and inclusive society. Karen was a legislator at large, representing the Democratic Progressive Party in the Parliament from 2016 to 2020. Her main focus areas included digital transformation, fintech, women empowerment, startup, social innovation, and regional revitalization. So please welcome Mrs. Karen Hu from Taiwan City Government. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Good afternoon, and thanks for having me here. Actually, I'm an old friend of La France Taiwan for many years. And I'm honored to representing our Mayor Zheng Wen-Chan to introduce Taoyuan for a while, just briefly. Maybe most of you are already very familiar with our city. I remember since 2015, Taoyuan City started to upgrade itself as smart city. So during that year, we established a committee of smart city, and since then we promoted more than 200 smart city projects in Taoyuan until now. And luckily, in 2019, we won ICF Intelligent City Forum, which is based in New York, global smart city organization, top 1 city at that year. And since then, we also won many awards and prizes for as a smart city. To me, when we talk about smart city, we have to find the DNA of that city first, because we believe that every city has its unique point of view or its DNA for people to find their potential. Most of people maybe already know that Taoyuan is the place where airport located. So many people call us the door of Taiwan. But I would like to demonstrate is the location of Taoyuan, because through Taoyuan you can arrive the main cities around East Asia within 3 hours. So that's the reason recently I found that many Hong Kong people move to Taoyuan because they can finish their journey to Hong Kong, Taipei, wrong way within one day. So you can see we have really a good location. And Taoyuan is the biggest industrial city in Taiwan as well. Every year we probably have output about $1 trillion US dollars. The main industry in Taoyuan including logistics, transport, and upstream industry of semiconductor. And most of them are this. So you can see we provide a lot of opportunity. And since 2016, Taiwan government, central government promoted investing Taiwan project. In Taoyuan, we achieved 20% of the total sum of money to invest Taoyuan, which means that it's about 2 trillion USD dollars in the past 6 years. And because everyone knows that the house price in Taipei is very high, right? So we found a lot of young people, they escape from Taipei to Taoyuan. And we also, the government of Taoyuan also provide a lot of subsidy for the young parents in Taoyuan. So you can see the birth rate in Taoyuan is the highest among the whole Taiwan. And our population, the average age of our population is the youngest among Taiwan. The average age is about 39. So people can see that we have a lot of new energy are going to input to the industry, and we also have 17 colleges and universities, which provide about 26,000 every year. The workers for the industry, and in the near future, we are going to have more university, including Zhengda, Tsinghua, and Jiaotang. We also have Taoyuan is also a very diversity cities. We have a lot of historical legacy here. So you can see we have Minnan, Hakka, different diversity culture located in Taoyuan. And we also have a lot of blue-collar migrant workers from Southeast Asia. So we have the highest number of blue-collar immigrant workers in Taiwan, which is about 110,000 people populations here. That's why our government do a lot of policy in order to support their growth and prosperity. When regarding to smart city project, I would like to say, because I already mentioned we have more than 200 projects implemented in Taoyuan. That's our pavilion just next door. So you can see most of the projects related to the sustainable project, including air pollution monitoring or water control or water management and so on. But I would like to introduce the most important one is that the people-centric project, which is our citizen car. Taoyuan is the only one city which launched the citizen car very successfully within Taiwan. More than I have to translate number into English. More than 760,000 people, use our citizen car, and which has multiple functions within one car. I would like to say it's not about the car. It's like the government provide a CRM system to provide the policy in order to satisfy the citizen. So citizens can use the car to do a lot of to use a lot of public service in Taoyuan City. For example, during the pandemic, when 1922 haven't come yet, citizens in Taoyuan use the card to do their check record. So we can do, so that help the government to do the prevention of virus better in Taoyuan. We have 31 functions within one card. So citizens from the baby to elder people can get different kind of service in Taoyuan. And the citizen cards like a portal of city government service. So in the near future, we hope that we can also encourage citizens to reduce the carbon footprint by give them points in order to encourage them to do more things to make the cities more sustainable. And we also would like to, I would like also to participate how we formulate our smart city policy. We let the citizens to have their voice. So every year we probably will have a kind of project to invite citizens to vote the project they want through the citizen card. So they can participate our budget plan or other kind of public policy plan as well. And the other thing is that when we talk about the smart city, we think about what we think is about the infinity learning, which means that we have to bring the whole city to be transformed, digitalized and transformed. So we input a lot of budget to do the educational infrastructure, including a smart classroom. So you can see from the elementary school to the long care center, the government provide different kind of technological tools in order to provide service for the citizen and to help them more to be more health or to be more educated. They can get the learning everywhere, anytime. And because we want to achieve we want to make Taoyuan City to be more sustainable. So SDGs, the 17 standard of SDGs is our standard as well. That's why last year we input smart city project, a new project called She Smart Taoyuan, because we want to eliminate the gender gap, and then we want to make the smart city to be more gender friendly in order to achieve smart SDGs standards. And we believe that if you are talking about smart city, you are talking about a kind of city design, urban design. So we welcome new different point of view or innovative point of view from women as well. So we invite 11 women from different industrial sectors to be our committee members and have their voice in our committee meeting as well. And if you remember, I mentioned about DNA in Taoyuan. One of our DNA is car industry in Taoyuan. We have very completed car system, ecosystem in Taoyuan. So that's why we collaborated with NDC, National Development Center, together to implementing Asia Silicon Valley program in Taoyuan. And one important program is about 5G autonomous vehicle project. So this is our sandbox part. You can see how we develop the autonomous vehicle and the related 5G infrastructure in this part. If you have time, would like to visit, let me know. I will show you in Taoyuan. And one more important thing, the last thing I already said a lot, is about equity. Green Noble is our sister cities, so we collaborate with Green Noble, and Taoyuan is the chair city of equity about the ecological logistics for 2 years. And we transform our transportation and energy be more sustainable. So you can see we are the birthplace of shared motorcycle and share motorcycle. Actually, most of you maybe heard about GoShare, which come from Taoyuan. So that's the way we do to reduce the carbon footprint, and we innovate the logistic as well. So this year we are going to launch what we have done for the past 2 years in order to share Taoyuan as the biggest logistic city experience about how we transform cities' logistics be more sustainable. Okay, finished. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Karen. We are a bit behind schedule, but we would love to take a group photo. So I would like to invite on stage all the speakers, all the people from the French office in Taipei and all French Tech Taiwan team to immediately come here, take a great photo together. François also, please. French office. Jonathan. All the speakers, French Tech Taiwan, French office in Taipei. I think it's better to both rows are fine. I think we should occupy that. Any other speakers from today are not on stage? With that mask. If you want. Quickly. Thank you very much. So now we are going to start our fireside chats and panel discussion session. And I would like to invite the two first guests, Karen Yu again, and Laetitia Lim, co-president of La French Tech Taiwan, which I will let introduce herself. So I see you can both sit on that side. Thank you.
Okay, so hi everyone. So I'm Laetitia Lim, co-president of French Tech Taiwan. So it's a pleasure to be with everybody today, and especially to be in such a nice company with Karen Yu. So I'm not going to introduce again Karen because Laurent did a great job there. Now on my side, I personally really happy to have this chat with Karen because apart from all the big responsibilities she has, in Taoyuan, before as a congresswoman, etc. She's always been an advocate of women empowerment. So that's definitely, close to my heart. So that's the first one. And the second one is definitely, She's Smart Taoyuan is an initiative that she launched. So definitely we can have women in tech and inspiring, more women, to join tech. So thanks a lot, Karen, to be with us for this chat. So I think the first topic I'd like to have you react on is basically, you mentioned about SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. So it was launched in 2015 by the United Nations, and then Taoyuan, supported that as well, starting from 2019. So, definitely it would be interesting to hear from you. Taoyuan is the largest industrial city in Taiwan. It's growing very fast. So how actually do you grow Taoyuan into an inclusive, friendly, sustainable city?
Like I introduced by now, that Taoyuan is an industrial city. So during 2015, actually we want to keep the city sustainable development in one hand. At the other hand, it's about how we can cure the city's disadvantage as well. So that's why Taoyuan is very special. One of the special things for Taoyuan is that we put SDG as our core value of the city. We have the volunteer evaluations of SDGs every year. So we should let my department, as an information technology department of the Taoyuan City government, we also think about how we can make the technology to make the city be more sustainable instead of only development. So that's why we're looking for diversity issue and diversity value and diversity development as well. In my department, we use technology to reduce the carbon footprint. For example, like GoShare. In the first time, the owner of the Gogoro came to meet our mayor, and at the discussion, we encouraged the owner to develop a new business model to share the motorcycle. Then GoShare give the birth in Taoyuan. So I think it's a very successful case that government can be the good partner with the private sector. We call public and private partnership. So this is the historical legacy in Taoyuan, and the way we achieve SDG goes in one way. And when we go through the 17 different SDG goals, we find that it's very crucial to eliminate the gender gap in scientific and the technology sectors. So and because recent years we have very booming economic development in Taoyuan. So I saw a lot of big tech company. They also have shortage of human resource. So it's good time that we tell the women, actually you can be different role of economic. So that's why we launched the She Smart Taoyuan to break through the stereotype of women in technology sectors, and we want to encourage more women to learn and to participate the innovation of technology as well. But we also encourage people to use the technology to make the city, to make the world be more sustainable. So that's the way we have experienced in the past few years in Taoyuan.
Thanks, Anne. Actually, I had the chance to attend one of the She Smart Taoyuan event I think 3 months ago. It was about smart cities beyond borders. And it was really amazing, I mean, for me personally, to see how fruitful, I mean, there's so many women actually in the space. And from all around the world, and in different fields, you know, no matter tech or non-tech. So it was really, really fruitful to have actually this event to push us to be together. So thanks a lot for that, Karen. Now let's move to a second topic, which is more about social responsibility. I know it's a topic close to your heart, you know, because like Laurent said, I mean, before, working in Taoyuan, before becoming a congressman, you actually started as a social entrepreneur, right, back in 2008, so in fair trade industry. So I know that, I mean, definitely social responsibility is something that you care from day one. So like you said, I mean, your presentation, Taoyuan is a very colorful population. So it's diverse, with Southeast Asian immigrants, indigenous, Hakka community, really well represented, very young city as well. So all that, of course, are great assets for Taoyuan. Now it's also challenging sometimes, I guess, because how do you actually integrate them, give them access to education, employment and health? So how Taoyuan is actually approaching that?
to me, because I'm a social entrepreneur, I don't think that we are talking about social responsibility. To me, it's a way to innovate the society. We have plenty of opportunity from the different perspectives. So I think this is also the same to our mayor. So when we talking about how we take care of different diversity, ethnics or diversity tribe, you can say, because we have Aboriginal people as well. We cannot only rely on technology. It's relied on a lot of departments work together. So we have different missions. For example, one way is that we establish new department in order to take care well of certain ethnics, such as Hakka, Aboriginal people. And the second is that we do a lot of policy in order to support the minor ethnics in Taoyuan as well. So, for example, most of Taiwanese may be very familiar with Hakka people. And we have the highest population of Hakka people in Taoyuan. So that's why we have Hakka department. It's very special department among Taiwan. And so we use AR technology to generate the Hakka education material for Hakka people. So if you want to learn the language, you can use AR or VR technology and to learn more fluently. And the other is that we encourage the department general director to learn Hakka language as well, in order to keep the language alive. So we do a lot of things in order to make the city's diversity, and I think it's very crucial and important to our city, because when we have more conversation or interaction with different cities, we have more different topics to change exchange, to change the experience, and I think that is very good for different people to live in Taoyuan and enjoy the life quality as well.
Thanks, Dan. So my last question would be, more about a startup. So I know that actually Taoyuan in your smart city plan, so you have 10 different focus on areas that you guys want to focus on, and one of those areas are definitely to become a major startup hubs. So could you share with us some of the key initiatives you've been driving to welcome startups in Taoyuan and actually to boost innovation as a whole in the city?
In my limited experience in Taoyuan, I know Taoyuan is an industrial city in the past. So the city gives me an impression about dark air and water pollution, all like this. But now it's totally changed. So we think that it's very important is that how we can transform or digitalize the traditional industry into the future one. So that's why the Taoyuan City government collaborated with NDC National Development Council and implemented Asia Silicon Valley in 2016. During that project, we want to enhance the energy from our industry, like renewable, and we create and establish about 6 or 7 incubation for staff. We want to let the young people know, instead of being a worker, you can be an entrepreneur in Taoyuan, and the government will support you to make you very successful. So that's the message you want to deliver to the young people. And since the 6 years efforts, I think Taoyuan has totally different. Like Hutousan Innovation Hub, I showed you about autonomous vehicle. Even the foreigners, for example, I would like to take one example. Last time, there is a delegation from the United States Parliament. They point out they want to see our 虎头山Autonomous Vehicle Innovation Hub and understand how we create new industry for car industry for the future. So it's very exciting for us as well. And meanwhile, we also provide entrepreneur education and entrepreneur budget for university in order to let more young people has opportunity to contact the innovation or being entrepreneur during the college period. And because we have a lot of big tech company like D-Link, like you mentioned D-Link, for example, D-Link right now is promoting the Internet of Car, yeah, kind of the words. So they want to promote the robot system in Taoyuan. That's why our Department of Youth has collaborated with D-Link to promote the ROS as a kind of robot system into high school and the university. So to make the city transform, it's not that easy, but it's a very cool thing. But you have to do a different effort from different departments, and make it integrate very well in order to see the outcome after many years' efforts.
So thanks a lot, Karen. I think we're done here. So I'd like everybody to join me to thank Karen again, and thank for your constant support for France Taiwan. So you've always been present for us. So thanks a lot, Karen.
Thank you very much to both of you. And so our next fireside chat session is about a clean last mile delivery solution for downtown smart cities. And we are very glad to invite Christian Jansen, co-founder of Gaius Auto, Jason Huang, Executive Vice President of LSC Ecosystem, and the session will be moderated by Thibaut Brunel, who is our Executive Board Member of the France Taiwan. Please welcome our guests on the stage. Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon again, everyone. I am Thibaut. I'm very pleased to welcome two very interesting speakers. Christian Jansen from Gaius Auto, co-founder, and Jason Huang, who is Executive Vice President of LSC. So let's jump into it because we are a little bit behind schedule. First question, I guess for Christian, for those who don't know about Gaius Auto, can you explain briefly about the company and the product?
Who doesn't know about Gaius Auto? Anyway, of course. At Gaius Auto, what our motto is, what we want to accomplish is better life for people in cities. And we do that with this vehicle currently. This is the light electric freight vehicle. It's a 3-wheel tilting vehicle. What we're trying to do is create a modality for fleets to use that is tailor-made for their needs. We also give them the background requirements, such as charging networks, the fleet management systems, and we've already started working on the future products 2 to 4-wheel vehicles.
Great. So just a quick side question about last mile delivery, just to clarify a little bit this for everybody, make sure we are clear.
Right. So last mile delivery meaning that this is the delivery activities that happen within the city that are going out to the customers, generally a large volume of packages, but into many different directions. And this is what makes these vehicles good for the cities.
Okay, so obviously logistics is a very important part of the cities nowadays. Everybody is using Amazon and these kind of things. Can you explain a bit more in detail how your solution can be integrated into a smart city environment?
Yes, I actually have a slide to answer just that question. Could you go to that? Yeah, this one, yes. So every week, 1.5 million people are added to our cities globally, and this is a trend that is continuing into the future. These people need to move around in the cities. They also are increasingly ordering things online. This is driving the last mile, and it is driving the overall freight situations in the city. Now what happens today is that large trucks are used to make these deliveries. These trucks have difficulty finding parking. When they can park, they just double park. So what happens is that while the freight vehicle volume is only about 10% of city traffic, they contribute 25% of the emissions and 30% of the congestion in the city. And the last mile is forecast to go 80% almost by 2030. So the World Economic Forum has looked at the base case for 2030. So what happens if we don't change anything? We just keep going as we are, same trucks, same system. We're going to add a lot of delivery vehicles which add emissions, congestion, everything just keeps getting worse until it's not manageable. So what we do is we create this modality for the fleets they can choose from for the tasks that are better suited to a smaller vehicle. So these vehicles can then take trucks off of the road, replace it with vehicles that don't pollute, that don't cause congestion, and are not impacted by traffic.
Great. So that's a great one. Coming back to our theme of today, which is the general theme of today is how can innovation improve our lives in the city? And that's one of the examples we wanted to show. The reason why we have also Jason Huang from LSC in this panel is because the solution from LSC are very complementary for this type of last mile delivery smart vehicle solution. So maybe Jason, as a starter, can you explain briefly what is LSC?
Thanks everyone, good afternoon. I'm very pleased and happy to be here to share what we are doing now. So maybe I would like to let you know that LSC is actually a tier 1 solution provider. We are delivering electrification solutions to vehicle manufacturer. So what we are doing now is we believe the light electric vehicle will grow. The market is booming. We expect the 2-digit year-on-year growth. So in this kind of a booming market, we expect there should be someone or many, there should be a role in the market, in the industry, to help the vehicle manufacturer to develop a product faster in a more efficient way. Just like what we do, what we already see in the PC or IT industry. So LSC's mission is to provide a total solution. We call it a system as a service that includes the hardware and the software. So we put all LSC's products, including hardware, software, server together. We can put them into 4 different categories. We have a drive, electrical drive. That means the core of the light EV. When we say light EV, we are talking about e-bike, scooter, e-motorcycle, or mini 4-wheelers. So we provide the motor, the power control unit, the transmission, the thermal solution, and also we integrate with battery pack vendors to provide a full e-pack solution to our customers. That will be the first product category. The second one is we have a smart kit. That is all about having the vehicle connected and equipped with the computation power. So we have the smart kit module, we have the vehicle control unit, we have the pneumatic control unit. They help the vehicle, no matter it's an electric vehicle or the traditional IC vehicle, we make them put that peripheral, put a module in the vehicle to make it connected. With that, we have the third product line, which is called electrical car. That's about the software, the mobile phone, the PC, and any devices to get connected to the vehicle. So that with the software, we can get the vehicle status, the sensor data, the edge computing results through the cell phone or directly to the cloud. So that we can collect the data, understand the vehicle, understand the user behavior more, so that it goes to the fourth product category, which is the intelligence. We have data analysis team. We understand the data itself is meaningless if we don't analyze it. So in this whole hardware and software combination, the value is to get the data, understand the data, turn the data into insights, and make it as a knowledge for the end customers or for a vehicle maker or even for LLC to understand more what should we do for the next generation products. So put all the four products together and call it electric core. So LLC is actually a solution provider here. Our mission is to, it's not just about selling the components, selling our service. Our ambition is to create a new working model that can help this industry to deliver the product faster than ever, so that we can have more focus on providing the solution. The vehicle vendor can have more focus on defining the product, deciding the better design for the riders to have a better riding experience. So that kind of working model is something we expect for a new booming market.
Right, thanks. It's very interesting to see how your system can help gather the data to prepare for the next generation. That's very nice to see. So in a frame of smart city, of course, your platform is multi-vehicle. One of the common aspects is the charging for electrical vehicles. And I think we wanted to show one example of the usage for your system.
Yeah. So we are actually, we understand collecting the data, analyze the data is actually the result will be the input for the next generation product or next generation algorithm. So we are actually creating a model, a computation model, and make it a closed loop so that we can let the model keep learning. So this is an example, especially for the commercial scenario. We call it the project challenge. This is what we are doing now, because we are designing the electrical, the components which equip in the electric vehicle. We collect the data. We also are defining creating the infrastructure of the cloud. So we collect the data. We can understand the status of the vehicle. We can also understand the status of the charging stations. So we can understand the demand and the supply at the same time. So this is what we are doing now. We are actually using the status as an input and to understand the whole situation. And for the service provider, especially for the charging service provider, our existing customer, we can give them suggestion that if you want to scale your business, you want to scale your installation of the charging stations, what would it be if you follow our suggestions to maximize the utilization rate for your new installation properties? So that's what we are doing now. We are actually collecting the data of the individual vehicle, and also we are actually managing the charging station status and use the current existing map to do the analysis and the simulation. So this is the video just for example, because it's a little bit too technical. I try to use that to illustrate what we are doing now. So use the environment, come up with the simulation, and also we can input with the simulated data, also input with the real data to understand, to predict the scenario, so that we can come back. We call it a feed-forward mechanism to keep the learning, the result, and the learning going, so that we can have a better and better learning results day after day to make this mechanism more robust and more efficient. So at the end, we will provide our customers a plan or a suggestion if you want to scale the business or want to maximize, grow the capacity of your your service units. What would it be? What's the scenario to make sure they get the proper ROI with this technology? So this is the project service. It's actually not our main business, but we realize that this is very helpful to our existing customers, especially for the commercial segments. Thanks.
Great, thanks. Very, very interesting. It's very good to see visually how it looks like. Yes, if we go back to the presentation, I have one question that is a bit more general. We could going back to you, Christian. So Garis is actually a Taiwanese company. Garis is a Taiwanese startup based in Taichung, with headquarters in Taichung, with international corporations. Can you speak to it a little bit, Christian, about how you've been developing your products with external help, especially with France? Of course, we are French tech.
Yeah, and I would love to see another slide I happen to have that shows sort of our past and present and partly our future. We were actually lucky to be selected by the French Tech. At the time it was called the French Tech Ticket. maybe now it is a French Tech visa. I think it transferred into that. But we got a chance to spend some time in Paris, and it was an eye-opener. It was a wonderful experience how we were welcomed there, not just personally, but also with all the resources we could ask for as a startup. So now to today, through this time in France, we have forged some strong and meaningful relationships. One of them with Valeo, who is an excellent and very large company. What that helps us is having a structural and strategic partnership for components of the vehicle that have very high sensitivity and very high reliability requirements. And in the future as well, France is a big market for us. We've been to Grenoble and other areas. Everywhere this modality has been very well received.
Right, so I guess some question to you, Jason. How are you collaborating with international partners at the moment, customers or suppliers? And what's your plan for the future? How do you plan to expand from Taiwan to the next step of internationalization?
Yeah, actually we see this topic in two new angles. The first is to provide a universal solution to all the vehicle manufacturers worldwide. So we are actually not limited in the local market. Our current customer pool is actually worldwide, so the technology can be applied anywhere. And especially for Europe countries, if we take the e-scooter or the e-bike into consideration, the highest adoption rate is in Europe. So we believe there's more opportunity once we create a new working model, more efficient working model to deploy our solution. It can help all the different markets, especially in Europe. That's one new angle from solution point of view. The other thing is we believe this kind of commercialized planning algorithms can also be applied to different countries. We are actually using the universal technology applied to different localized areas. We believe the result will be different. We are using the similar algorithms, learning in different countries, and we expect there will be different results, different scenarios in different countries because of the cultural difference, user behavior difference. So what we are doing now is we create a universal algorithm, and we believe, especially in Europe countries, especially in France, France is actually the top 5 e-scooter in terms of the revenue. If we talk about revenue, it's the top 5 country. So we believe the user behavior, user scenario, and user pain points, this kind of experience is very valuable. If there's a chance for us to actually apply our technology in Europe, in France, then we can have more insights. How do we develop the infrastructure in a more efficient way? And that can be a good reference to the other countries.
Very interesting. I think it goes back to the comment from Karani before saying that all the cities are different. So that the algorithm that you might need will adapt to different type of ecosystem. Exactly. Very interesting. We are going very fast, so maybe one very open question for you two about what you think are the next step for the smart cities, especially in Taiwan. What is your vision of the smart city for the future? So maybe Christian first. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I can talk again from the transportation and cargo perspective. And of course, I would love to see cargo disappear from the cities, streets, and just focus on people's movement. But that may be a very long time from now. But for now, we can focus on what we can accomplish currently. So what we can look at is multimodality. Again, I mentioned that before. And we need to support that not only in the cargo sector, but also in the private personal transport sector. Are all these LPAS vehicles available, which do for people as we can do with our vehicle for cargo? These are small vehicles, electric vehicles, with the right systems, and I think what Jason's talking about as well, we need to control them. We need to have the data-driven optimization, whether it's personal transport or cargo transport. And there, a lot of innovation and activity can take place. I would really like Taiwan to take these kinds of vehicles more seriously. There was a time we got close to it and then it just stopped. We could take some of the scooter traffic into this, some of the car traffic into this. It would balance out nicely. They could be shared, they could be eventually autonomous, they can park and charge autonomously, and this all can do a lot for our cities. And of course, again, the data, the back end, the smart integration, these are all the nodes in that system. As an example, if the vehicles send that data, if they all go over a pothole in the road, then the municipality knows they have to fix the road at that point. And I'll hand it over to you.
Yeah, I think it's the same question for you. Data is key to optimize, right?
Yes,
this is also, from my point of view, very important.
Yes.
So I guess this is what you have in mind as well.
Yeah, it's really echo to your question that I think the smart cities actually we can see that as a mega service that's actually to digitize and digitalize the infrastructure of the city. Transportation is one big topic, and that's what we are doing now. We try to electrify the means of transportation and make it digitized, so we can analyze it to manage it in a more efficient way. And I think in the future is we actually see different applications, different services individually. If we want to call it a city, that's actually we need to put them all together, all the services together, not just about transportation. It's about public service, parking, traffic light, every information. All the application service should be interactive. That will be the future. So the big challenge here, the future city is we need to do our job well. Make sure we have a robust electric vehicle and also the management system. And so that the next step is try to work with different services, put them together with a secured and well-managed mechanism, secure the data exchange, and then we can come out more intelligent life in a smart city. That will be the future we are expecting for.
Thank you so much. We are done on the time. I hope this gives you a quick, good overview of what can be the logistics in the new smart cities. And actually, your point is a great introduction for the next session, which will be from with Ryan Chang from Thales, talking about data security for mobility and also for communication. So that's very much in line with what you're saying. Christian and Jason will be available for speed dating if you want to have a private discussion with them. Thanks again. The next session, will be then Ryan Chang, who is Strategy and Business Development Manager for Thales Taiwan, moderated by my dear friend Colin Piet from the French Tech. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, Ryan. Thank you.
Hello.
Thank you very much for accepting our invitation today to discuss about what Thales proposes to tackle the challenges of the future city. So you are the strategic and business development manager in Thales. So I believe that most of the people in the audience here know about Thales, but for the few who don't, can you introduce briefly what Thales does here in Taiwan?
Yes, of course. Thales was a French company. I would say for us, because today Thales is widely spread in 5 continents to the world. So we have present in 68 countries today, and totally at 83,000 employees. So Thales is a French company, also a Dutch company, a German company, Taiwan company as well. So Thales Taiwan was here already, I would say, almost 30 years now. So we established in the 1982 sometime, so likely 30 years today. So we are quite local present a long time ago. And Thales, the major market domain is in defense, in aviation, in ground transportation, and the security level, and space as well. So
we are keen to design the critical systems for our customer, and all our customers are facing a tough challenge. They have a tough mission to handle. So, for example, in defense, we design the radars and the sensors to protect the ship and vehicle in the battlefield. In aviation, we design the avionics system and the air traffic control system to guarantee the air safety. So ground transportation, the day you enter the MRT, the fare collecting system, the gate, is provided by TELUS. And also we manage the train safety. We can auto-control the train in a safety distance. For space, we have a TELUS and Airspace. They manufacture the satellite. So for the space exploration, land or moon exploration. Also for the security, we design the critical systems to protect customer critical facility, no matter it's in traditional way or cyber. So this is TELUS DNA. We are keen to design the system to help our customer handle their challenge today. Thanks.
So today we are here to speak specifically about the applications of TELUS within the city in terms of data management, for mobility and security. I believe we have a video, short video, explaining a bit this before you introduce us to us.
Okay, what we just see is our security digital platform. We can call it in short SDP. So it's kind of we just say, okay, we are keen to design a critical system to support our customers. Today, a city operator, they need to handle 10 times the message over than 10 years ago. So there are thousands of street cameras and tons of calls, have a lot of inquiry. So this system can help the city operator to gather all the information. We can integrate all the camera on the street. So today, camera just for record. Nobody can digest the thousands of cameras in the same time. But with our SDP, we can use machine learning systems to identify the abnormal in real time. So we can quickly identify where is the area. There's something not daily happening. So we can target for provide a warning to the city. And also, we can do some kind of, okay, I wonder you know 1922 calls, 1922. Okay, it's kind of a service call. It's not like a 911 or you call emergency service. Citizens can call 1299 to asking any kind of things. Like, okay, the park, somebody need to cut the trees, make some clean, or a kind of see the street light, have some broken light, you need to change. Okay, people can call 1922 calls. So there's a lot of calls coming every day. And it's very difficult to digest all these calls. So with our system, we can help the city to digest the calls and preset a priority. So we can see who's the most priority, maybe the first list. So the city operator can just asking the relevant department to respond to the call by the order of priority. So this is something we specialize to do. And other than this SDP, we have some kind of I would say, drone is also the future. It's a future opportunity, also a potential risk for a city. Because people talking about drone can make delivery, surveillance, And there's a lot of star company we can see today, a lot of drone application today. But what if the drone flying over the city every day? That will create a risk for the privacy and the safety. So Thales also developed the ETM, UAS traffic management. We kind of copy our air traffic management system and try to find a way to adapt for the drone ecosystem. So we can provide the registration, certification, fire approval, and the fire watch, like real aircraft monitoring. So it can help the city to manage the drone activity inside the urban area. So to provide efficiency for the drone, we want to benefit by the drone convenience and also protect the safety and the privacy as well.
Okay, I see. So it's a lot about the data management and the optimization of all these tons of data that city operator receive on a daily basis. And also we know that recently, like Thales has had a boost in the business unit or in R&D for digital identity. So how does biometrics can be applicable today in the city and in the future, and what are the main solutions that Thales offers for this?
We know a city, a perfect city, want to provide a convenience for citizens where they live and work, but also need to protect their privacy information. Sometimes it's contradiction. And it's still a question, where is the balance, right? But let's think about different way. We use ATM every day. We draw the money from ATM, right? No hesitation. Okay. And we use credit card or smart card, and something like Apple Pay, Samsung Pay. So we use these very, very convenient financial systems to take your money, withdraw the money, spend your money. We have not much worry about why. I think because the technology today is sufficient to protect your privacy already, so the users more comfortable to use all this technology to pay their bill. So maybe we can use all this technology to a smart city. Thales digital identity, we provide a lot of banking system for the banks in Taiwan. So the ATM you use, the smart card, or even the phone, all equipped Thales digital identity solutions. So this can protect your private information, will not be extracted by the third-party person. So this is the key. So for a city, let's say, okay, now COVID is kind of a thing today. Everybody experienced a couple of years, COVID, how it impacted our life. We need to scan the QR code. We need to write down our personal information when you enter a building or facility. So maybe one day with all this information, because privacy is key, but we can 100% protect it. People are more relaxed to use the facial recognition or to fingerprint anyway. Okay, you don't need to use QR code or write down any information. We just walk in the door. The camera can identify yourself, but no one can really attract it from any illegal way. So you are protected, but still provide a convenience. So this is how we can provide for a city to more value for the government, for the citizens' life.
So you were talking in the introduction that Thales is a French company in the beginning. It became a localized company, a Dutch company, a Taiwanese company. But here we are mainly interested in the Taiwan and the French relations. So how, in your job today, is it influenced by the French and Taiwan relationships? And how does it help in your project?
Okay. Taiwan, okay, I would say a smart city can mean many things. And fundamentally, a smart city is to solve the city challenges eventually. So different cities have a different subject to handle. And Taiwan, I would say, considered is very low crime rate and very low terrorist risk. It's almost the most safe country in the world. But in Europe, in France, we know it's a little bit different. Cromwell and Telescope is still a subject. And TELUS it's what TELUS expertise. We design a critical system for in the warfare or in the very aviation safety kind of things. So this what TELUS become a partner for France for many years. We have a strong reference in Paris and Nice for the smart city application, something like our SDP. We provide the security and the civilian support. And also we protect the Ministry of France Defense, so we provide the smart protection solutions. And for the European authorization, I would say we also a trusted partner for NATO. And also we provide the solution to protect German military camps, Netherlands and naval base. So this over the past 20 years, we are developing this system to support our customer in Europe. And also, we know the challenge is getting higher and higher. We see there's more and more way, more potential threat to all the cities or states. So it keeps TELUS to involve to develop our systems more advanced. And that's why TELUS can keep a key in this domain today. And trying to bring it to Taiwan because this is something we can really find. Okay, we can do something here, and we're looking for the opportunity. If Taiwan needs, we can share our technology to Taiwan.
Good transition to my last question about as an expert in this field, what do you think is really the biggest challenge for Taiwan to tackle? In this big question that is smart cities, and for the people in the cities, what do you think is the next step, and how can TELUS answer that? Okay.
Actually, I see Taiwan have this smart city Expo for many years, and more companies come out, have many fancy or very beautiful design and application for the smart city. But I see this about the time to think about international cooperation. So not just to do it for your own city, we can think about the overseas. And TELUS, yes, we are good to design a critical system, but I would commit we are not so good to design a small solution with a limited cost. So this is something we can really to work together. If with this opportunity, TELUS can be a platform with this SDP. You can see there's a drawing. Okay, we are more likely in the middle, smart city operation center. But we can integrate all kinds of a smart solution. You have a smart mobility, smart lighting, smart energy. And we not 100% provide that because different country, different city have a different issue to handle. We are not able to address everything in one product, in one solution. So there's a chance to work together. And especially after this, TELUS will still provide its system to the global customer. And we intend to use integrated system together. So which means if there's a chance, Taiwan staff company work with TELUS, we can bring your solution together with our product, offer to the rest of the customer in the world. So it's the opportunity, it's a window.
Thank you very much, Ryan, for this discussion. So it's a complex topic, a lot of angles to see this. But thank you for the answer and to see how TELUS can help to answer those challenges. I will now hand the mic for the next session that is about connected integrated systems for smart cities. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that. I'm glad to invite on the stage Johanna Lan, Director of Marketing at 10E IoT Corporation, and Mr. Fu Yulin, Vice General Manager of Glory Technology Service Incorporated, and the moderator, which is Romain Plateau, a member of La France Taiwan. Thank you.
Hi everyone. So now we're going to look at connected integrated systems in a smart city, and we have a young startup with us, with Johanna, and we have Mr. Fu with Rory360. So I will first of all hand over the first question to you, Johanna. Could you describe briefly what is your company about?
Sure. So our company's name is 10EALT. So on January 22nd, 2019, 10EALT was established by 6 engineers who devoted to researching wireless devices for more than 20 years. And on November 11th, 2021, 10EALT marched into Hsinchu Science Industrial Park, which represents a significant milestone for us. We plan to combine the Internet of Things, narrowband Internet of Things, 5G mobile communication, Wi-Fi, and AI-cam sensoring to design a highly integrated driverless electronic system in the next 3 years. Related technologies such as wireless, hardware, and software are our core technologies, and they're also well integrated into our products. And this is our brand logo. Good safety, happy family is our purpose. By holding this belief, we hope our techniques will bring people more convenient, healthier, and safer life. This slide shows the organizational structure of our corporation. Although as a startup company with a few members, as an old saying goes, small as it is, the sparrow has all the vital organs. So we still believe that our team is strong enough. Yeah.
Thank you. We'll stick a bit longer with you, with Johanna. We just move to the next question. And how do you see what sort of application do you have today to sort of respond to the smart cities, the challenge which is being posed in cities?
So the application of our products, the main products of our company are 5G Wi-Fi, MB Tracker, and Tenka 4G. The 5G Wi-Fi supplies not only high speed but also stable internet connection, and MB Tracker combines MB IoT, Wi-Fi, and GPS technology to track the location of things. Tenka 4G is a solar surveillance camera which can be installed at the door of houses, buildings, and companies. So, and next we take this image as an example to present the potential application of our products in smart cities. Imagine you're driving this car somewhere in the city, and if you have the portable 5G Wi-Fi carrying around in the car with you, you're able to detect your own health status through the wearable healthcare sensor devices. And you're also able to listen to music through smart speakers, and you can upload images to upload the dashcam images into cloud immediately. And children can also play mobile games or see cartoons in the car. And with the MB Tracker in the car, your relatives or like parents can know your location through the system. Moreover, home security can be monitored by the Tenka 4G, so you don't have to worry about it while traveling far away.
Thank you. So that looks a lot, trying to connect people to the data, people on the move. But I would like to turn over the question to Mr. Rory360, and in contrast to Johanna, can you describe your company? What do they do, and how your application might have an impact into smart cities and helping people?
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your attention for this meeting. From the Rory360, we are defined. We are 3 SI company. One is for the system, solution, and the service integrator in the ICT domain. And we also more focus on one is intelligence transportation system, ITS. And the second is for the smart city infrastructure construction. third is renewable energy, and the last one is disaster prevention and livelihood. These are all for the smart city domain from the government attend. So due to we are defined, we are service provider, so we are more of what kind of need from our client and our customer. So we more focus on providing what kind of service to our customer. Today we are doing the conference and the event. We are more focused on one of our service or solution in the cooperation with a French company. Now we are providing one service and the solution for our clients. Position indoor position solution, and this kind of very advantage technology come from the French company. Currently we are doing one of the ongoing project. Thank you.
Thanks. I will keep talking to you, Mr. Fu. The next question, as has been mentioned on this forum this afternoon, every city has its own set of challenges and issues. And how do you see the next step for smart cities, especially for Taiwan? How do you see the issues that relate to Taipei, to Taiwan, the cities in Taiwan, and how you think what would be the next step to do to improve those, or help to solve those challenges in Taiwan?
Other to me, because to know is I cannot hear it very clear.
Okay,
I was so close here.
I was asking in the near future that what would be the very next step to tackle the challenges in the cities in Taiwan, in which your technology would help into solving.
So I think from the thank you question. So for the next step and our challenge from the smart city in Taiwan, we think there is in the period the check and also like the Joanne company the solution is provide mainly the solution in the marketing already. But one thing is how to integrate integration together. Because now our issue in Taiwan, not also in the worldwide, with too many the solutions already. And as you mentioned, like last session, is data is the most treasure, it's the most important service. And the one thing like the Talis mentioned about, we have a platform already, but we have too many the platform. But how to integrate? And currently, this is one is the evolution and the one step and the challenge. For currently, we are talking about the smart city. We also think when I think smart city, we always thinking about technology the first, but we are almost forgot this the technology is where the serve our people. Just like our topic, how to improve our life. So we should go thinking the humility, how to provide more best and more good quality for the people. Another okay, we are just saying or talking about how I provide a very high technology, the product and the solution for you. Okay, this is my feedback for this question. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Joanna, I will obviously ask the same question to you. What would you think would be the next step to the smart cities using your products?
The next step of smart city. So we think there will be changes in terms of transportation and housing in Taiwan. We believe the next step of smart city in Taiwan is the development of electric vehicle. Since Taiwan is involved in green energy, if a large amount of fossil fuel vehicles can be replaced with electric vehicles, there will be a good impact on the environment. So in order to make the related system of electric vehicle completely, our next step is to integrate electronic system, including in-car audio, video, entertainment, safety, and AI, driverless AI sensor, or even add 6G technology in them, making it just like a mobile computer. Yes.
Thank you very much. Sorry, it's quite noisy, so I also struggle myself to understand the conversation. But I just want to rebound a bit on Mr. Fu, because you mentioned about integration, data integration. We're receiving a lot of different type of data coming in, and the next challenge, as you mentioned, is how do we integrate those different type of data, and how do we read them, and how do we be used by the people. And I think that's a very great thing to mention. I like the idea, sorry, so just wanted to mention that. So this would be my last question for Mr. Fu, is how do you export yourself beyond Taiwan, beyond Asia, let's say Europe or France?
So this is a good. I think it is just point out what is our next step from the Glory Tech. Okay, so currently from the Glory Tech, we are cooperation with one of the European company, like from the French, not only including the Paris, and also including some company from French. So as I mentioned, we are doing the indoor procedure solution provider, provide the service in Taiwan. It's a very key. The advantage is this kind of solution is not to influence your daily operation, how to use this technology. So I think that this is more of the insight for the humanity, the need. Not just for example, you go to the where you need to download the software, install other different application, a lot of things you need to do. So this is why we are very so happy and this kind of cooperation with the European function, the people, the company at this moment. When we get this kind of solution, first, of course, we want the deployment inside Taiwan. And also for the Glory Tech, we have business not in Taiwan only. Currently, we have some business ongoing outside of Taiwan, especially in South Asia. For example, like Thailand, in the Philippines, in Macau, and also in Singapore. So when we get any kind of application and the solution, we will find the idea. We practice, and we are to learn it, and we are to implement in Taiwan first. When we get this kind of we so-called know-how learning, or we get the know-how transfer, we will try to explore this kind of solution in Asia. So the me, we just like Glory, we want to do the one kind of business. We are one gateway, we are one hub. We get the solution and the service idea from the French the company, and we are if we are successful, we will export distribution to go to the South Asia. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Johanna, do you have? How would you export your product to Europe or France, let's say, to help out with smart cities?
We want to expose our company to international, worldwide, so that our company can be seen. Because we're just a startup company, so the exposure is important to us. And we look forward to the cooperation with other companies to integrate lot of things to build a better system for a smart city. Yes.
Thank you very much. I don't know if you've got time left at all. This is running really short. Okay, so I think I will finish this session now. So thank you very much for coming. Great talk, very short, very noisy. Sorry about that. And please, next talk, next session. Thank you very much.
Thanks again, and we're glad now to welcome our next topic, Smart City Insights by La France Taiwan expert. So please welcome on the stage Mr. Carter Hall, co-founder and managing director of Unabiz Taiwan, Yan Bokio, founder and CEO of Air Visual, and the session will be moderated by Ravi Natadaru, CEO of Think Tank and member of La France Taiwan. Please welcome our guests on the stage. Thank you. I forgot to mention Fabien, who couldn't join within quarantine, is Fabien Petitgrand, a CTO of Ubiq, a Taiwanese company in LP1 technology. Thank you.
Hello, welcome. The idea of this session is more about the experiences of French Tech experts, because in French Tech Taiwan, we have people who have been working in Smart City, and the experiences that they have within the Smart City is what we are trying to progress and project in this particular session. So just to start, we would like to do the introductions. Carter, if you can introduce yourself and your company as well.
How about you? Hello everyone. My name is Carter Ho. I'm co-founder and managing director of Unabiz Taiwan. Unabiz is an end-to-end IoT solution provider. We specialize in massive scale IoT applications such as smart metering, asset tracking, and facility management. As a startup, we are going to turn 6 years old this summer. And we have around 70 employees. We have office in Taiwan, Singapore, Japan, France, and Thailand. So, we have deployed more than 1.3 million sensors worldwide. So I'm looking forward to share more of our Unabiz stories later on with you guys.
Yan, you were a former Taiwanese, I'm just kidding. And you did manage to have a successful exit with your IoT-based company, and could you explain more about that as well?
Yes, so I've been working for about 25 years in telecom as well as a big data industry. And today I will be speaking on behalf of my previous company that I set up called Air Visual, which was about mapping the world's air pollution and distributing that data back to the citizens. So that will be the main topic.
Okay. Ubiq is currently in quarantine, so we have recorded a little bit of session about introductions as well. So Lillian, if you could help.
Hello everyone, it's a pleasure to join the panel at the Smart City Expo. Unfortunately, I cannot be here in person because I'm still halfway through my current time, having just come back to Taiwan. So I'm Fabian, I'm the CTO of Ubiq, UBIIK, a Taiwan-based company founded in 2016, which focuses on connectivity solution for industrial IoT and smart city applications. So we do provide solutions for non-cellular connectivity solution based on wireless LP1 technology, as well as cellular IoT solution based on LTE-M and NB-IoT.
So as you all know, smart city is a concept, but the concept is not easy to crack. It's a very hard concept because it's like a chicken and egg issue. Which came first? You had to do a deployment to prove yourself, but to do the deployment, you need to have the requirement, you need to have the budget. So for everybody who is going to start a new IoT company or venture into the smart city, the lessons learned from the entrepreneurs whom we have on the stage is actually going to be very, very important. So as Fabia is not here, we will give him the first priority. He has to find out how he managed or how his company managed to crack the smart city in Taiwan and beyond. Lillian? Fabia, Q2.
So Ubiq initially was focused on implementing the wireless technology waveless. So purely as a technology company and spending most of its resources in R&D with a clear belief that this technology was well suited to a lot of IoT applications. Now we also got a chance that it did intersect with the schedule of Taiwan Power, so the sole electricity provider in Taiwan, which did resume its smart meter project in 2017. And it took a very open-minded approach by requesting vendors to submit different technologies to meet the requirements set for the smart meters. So those are smart electricity meters that are recording the data every 15 minutes, that needs more than 95% reliability, needs to be updated over the air in case of security issues or fixes. And Taiwan Power requested that we demonstrate the technology, and it took about a year to actually validate technically the solution. And we provide the connectivity solutions. We do not provide the meters, we provide the modules that goes into the meter and communicate to infrastructure that we are responsible for deploying and maintaining as well. And we also deploy the headend system, which is a backend solution, processing the meter data and storing it, and then providing it to Taiwan Power for their billing application and other requirements. So this is really how we got into that market, intersecting that tendering process and qualification process, and delivering a solution that did demonstrate its worth and its value and has a lower cost than other solutions. So as of now, we are the largest vendor for this AMI, Advanced Metering Infrastructure, in Taiwan. We've deployed 300,000 meters, and we have 380,000 more to be deployed in the next 18 months.
Thank you, Fabio. So that demonstrates the openness of Taiwan for even a very, very small company to win a big government tender and also to become big, to prove themselves that it is possible to crack into the smart city market. I think that's a very good value approach. So, Carter, how do you think UnaBiz managed to crack the market?
Okay, so the secret how we break into the smart city. As a startup, I think we made a lot of mistakes in the first few years. So we actually pivoted many times before we found the winning formula. So, and I think the key is about knowing the customer well as possible as you can. Because I mean, in our first few years when we started the company, I think we more focus on what product to sell. It's either connectivity, it's a product, and it doesn't work because I think we start from our angle, not from the customer's perspective. So right now we took a totally different approach. Right now we offer 100% customized solutions. So we will kick off a lot of interviews before the design starts. So we talk to finance, we talk to R&D, we know their pain points, know their requirements, and know some things we know is important, but the customer didn't aware of, such as field installation, maintenance, even corporate process. I'll take an example. We see a lot of customers. They care about 10 cents when they are designing the hardware product. But then we tell them, hey, if you design this, if you save 10 cents here, you might end up wasting 10 in the coming years on maintenance. So it doesn't make sense. So I think that's how we succeed, and the customization approach works well so far.
Cool. So it's the angle that you need to look from the customer point of view, but also try to walk the walk with them, and also to show them that sometimes cutting costs is not always the way to do it, but you need to look at it from an end-to-end point of perspective because you have that experience.
Yes.
Cool. How about you, Jan?
Yes, so originally when I set up that business in 2015, I wanted to deploy a few thousand sensors, and maybe with the dream of a day, I would have 1 million users of my applications. Actually, I was thinking a little too small because a few years ago already we reached a deployment of over 100,000 sensors, air pollution sensors deployed everywhere in the world. We crossed in 2020 50 million users of our app, and also like a website user. So how did we transform this one? So a few different things. We had the opportunity to work with governments, cities. Actually, we didn't select that road because working with governments, I'm sorry to say for people of the government being here, but it tends to go a little too slow, and I'm an entrepreneur, I'm quite impatient. So I decided to actually work with the power of communities. And the power of communities is amazing. If you provide them the tools, if you provide them the processes on how to deploy sensors, that can go really, really fast. So just to give you an example, in 2 months in Bangkok, Thailand, we deployed 1,000 sensors. So we made Bangkok, back in 2018, the most connected city for air pollution sensors. So if you would have had to work with governments, that probably would have taken 3-4 years. So that's, I think, one important aspect of how we changed the way we brought this connectivity, these sensors into the hands of people. Then the second aspect is about making sense of that data. Actually, many governments have that data, but they don't show that data in a good way or make it usable for citizens. So here, that's where we changed the way to process the data and make it also very visual and very understandable and accessible through APIs to citizens. And that's, I think, probably one of the reasons of this big success of that air visual company.
Cool. That was very cool insights coming from a startup, right? Like you have limited budget, you have limited resource, and you have limited schedule, and you still have to keep things up. But COVID was not something that we anticipated, right? And when COVID hit, like how did you guys manage to go through the whole process? Do we have Fabian on COVID?
For me, actually, my team was fully distributed, so COVID did not have any impact. So
lucky you. How about you, Fabian?
We have been fairly lucky that COVID did not impact us in a very big way. So we had already secured 2018 and 2019 tenders from Taiwan Power. So we have been very busy for the past 3 years implementing and delivering on that project. And COVID in Taiwan has been pretty mad, so of course it has impacted our operations and our supply chain with some challenges to procure the parts, deliver in time, install or deploy in the field. But this had no major business implication. As for overseas market, obviously this has been slower. Inability to travel overseas and the economic slowdown in other countries has meant that the business development has been slower. But it also gave us the time to focus on our roadmap, develop new products that are coming to the market now in the cellular IoT space. So now that the market is picking up overall, then we are running time with new products. So this was still pretty good timing for us, and we did not suffer too much from COVID.
Cool. So as far as Una business is concerned, like you guys are not just Taiwan based. You have Taiwan, Singapore, Japan, and France. But you have a lot of things to do. So how did you guys manage to break COVID?
Yeah, except Taiwan, other offices. I mean, we're not having too much people. But in Taiwan, it's different. Our R&D center is in Taipei, Neihu, and in Taiwan we have almost 50 something people. So when the COVID first hits Taiwan, I think it's in 2020 in March, I think. So I mean, you can feel the entire society is a bit panicked. And then we decide to do something. We have implemented the work from anywhere policy since then. So I mean, it takes time for colleagues to adopt the new working habits. But I think it helps. I mean, because when the second wave of COVID hits last year, I believe we have been more resilient, agile, and flexible, and I'm really happy to see it. So that's internally. I mean, but externally, I think, like Fabian said, I mean, the shortage, the cost going up, it's really hurting the business. It's getting slow. I think one key is that we have to do even more communication, be transparent with our customers. Because, for example, I mean, in the past, an email back and forth, it took it normally took 5-7 days. That's okay in the past. But right now, I mean, some materials price can go up 2 times in 1 day. So at this time, I mean, this special time, I think we have to face the challenge with the customer to be very, very transparent. That's something I want to share.
So, thank you very much. Looking at from a smart city perspective, there are threats, there are opportunities, and how to convert that threats into opportunities is our next question. So, can we see what Fabio had to say?
One of the main challenges of that industry is that it is very fragmented and will likely remain so, both in terms of technology and product fit to market. So this means it's hard to achieve the economies of scale and large volumes that would sustain proper business. Now this also represents an opportunity because having demonstrated our large-scale deployment in Taiwan, we now have the track record that is sometimes required and the credibility, and we can also combine different technologies and demonstrate that combining public networks, private networks, cellular, non-cellular is actually the best fit for a specific use case, and that we are able to deliver this kind of solution. So the broad range of options that are available can also turn into some opportunities for specific markets.
So Jan, how did you guys convert opportunities into threats?
So I see actually lots of opportunities. What I've noticed is like being into this IoT field, smart cities, there's a lot of big traditional companies looking for innovation. They would like to innovate, but they don't know how, or they would be super slow in doing that. So for us, how it turned out is that we were approached after 2 years. So we already had become the leader in that market within 2 years, and we are approached by a Swiss company which wanted to do the exact same thing that we had done, and for them it would have taken probably 4 to 5 years to do. So we were acquired actually fairly quickly within 2 years of setting up that business. So for us that was a big opportunity to change the rule of the games and then offer that to a big partner which ended up being purchasing us.
Perfect. How about you?
Well, so I think Unibees, we take few actions to face the challenges. I think one is that because there are a lot of good companies, so when they face the bad times, so we think it's a good time to do some M&A and to acquire some technology and people, and also. Let me think. This is the next question, right?
It's okay.
Yeah.
So, if at all you were given an opportunity,
Okay, I got one more. Because the business has changed. Customer are going to it's getting slower, so we're trying to pivot again to some industries that are exploding. For example, logistics. We allocate more resources on logistics, and there's one booming industry, everything related to ESG. So a lot of big corporates, they are spending tons of budget on it. So that's one secret I can share.
Thank you very much. And if you had to share some of the potential offer that you would like to have, or you would like Sri to offer you, what are those things that you would need help for, or what would you help for?
Because we're growing very, very fast. I think this year we plan to grow at a 50% rate. I mean, human power. So I think definitely we need the need for talent is definitely required. Because I mean, in the past, usually it takes us around 3 months to hire an account, but now it's more and more difficult. You guys can see on the news a lot of great companies, TSMC, they are leveling up their packaging offerings. So we are competing with great companies. So we have to also level up our offerings. So yeah, that's one thing. Because I mean, people are the foundation of our future. So we need to do more on the talent recruitment.
Cool, thank you. And last but not the least, from the insights perspective, what would you like to advise from your experience on the insights that you would like to have for the audience on smart cities?
I can take that. So I think a few years ago, IoT was about connecting something to the internet. And actually, if you check now, you take any student in like a grade 6 or above, that's all what they do, you know, like connecting stuff online. So there's no rocket science anymore into doing this. I think really the thing had moved to big data, data processing, AI. So what, for example, we've done at Air Visual was about connecting all those sensors and processing that data so that we made sense of that. For example, air pollution forecast. We were the first one to do an app with air pollution forecast back in 2015. So that's an example of how we put AI bricks everywhere within our platform. And that's, I think, one of the kind of a game changer is not just to connect a device or connect something, but make use of that data to make it smarter for cities.
Okay. So, Arthur, if you could give your insight on
Okay. In my opinion, I think, I mean, smart city is not only about corporates and business purposes. Because I think if we think about the purpose of the smart city, it's about making our life better, right? To make the city a better place to live. So I think everyone counts. So I want to tell you guys, make your voice heard. If you see anything interesting in this expo, anything you like, you tell your local representative. You call 1999, tell them, hey, I think Taipei should have this. I mean, really, when the government hears more and more people are the needs and the desire, they will allocate resources, and that will eventually, I mean, making the city getting smarter and smarter, and we will all benefit from it.
Perfect. So thank you everybody for joining this session. But that's what La France Taiwan had to offer for smart cities. Thank you.
Thanks a lot again, guys, for this excellent session. So, sorry again for being that late. To our last speaker, we're glad to invite on stage for the last fireside chat session on solutions to city rivers and harbors plastic pollution, smart AI robots. So, Cedric Jaeg, General Manager of Enliatec Technology and representing French startup IADIS, and the moderator is Thibaut from La France Taiwan. Thank you.
Thank you, Laurent. Last session of the day, a very important one, very interesting. One of the topics of the smart city is how we improve the life, our life. And of course, environment, water supply, clean water supply is very important. For the background history, we wanted to have Cedric at the previous French Tech event, the decarbonization we did in November, but unfortunately was not available. But since then, his company, Enliatec and IADIS, developed a partnership that we will present, and so we are very happy to have him. Maybe Cedric has a first question, because I think your profile is very interesting. Can you explain in a few words all the activities that you do and how this is related to water or plastic pollution, water solutions? Yeah.
Thank you, Thibaut. Good afternoon. Bonjour. Thank you for the invitation. So, yeah, my profile is maybe a bit atypical. So we are today here to talk about IADIS and their jellyfish boat, which it helps to clean the rivers and the canals. On a parallel life, I would say that I'm building solar power plants on the water. So in fact, their solution was somehow for me already something that answered my need. So I was looking for something for my floating power plants to clean around, and I found them. So that's how today we are, in fact, it's a kind of combination of what I was doing before and their solution.
So just to clarify, at least here, if I understand correctly, you have 3 caps. One cap is Enliatec General Manager.
One cap is Ciel et Terre Taiwan General Manager and representative in Taiwan of IADIS, not only for this, but in general, right?
Yeah, true. So about IADIS, maybe we'll talk a bit about IADIS. So IADIS is a French startup established near Marseille in 2018, in a small city near Marseille. And in fact, the founder of IADIS was, he's sailing like me. I'm also sailing in Thailand. And he was witnessing all these waste, the marine waste floating in the marinas and in the ocean.
You can see here on the video.
And he was saying, okay, we have to do something. And that's how he came with the idea to find, he's specialized in the AI, artificial intelligence. And that's how he came with this idea to build a robot to catch the trashes. So then regarding this, I was saying about the jellyfish solution. For us also it makes sense because Aniatech, the core business of Aniatech, my company, is a company I built established in 2009, and so it's already 13 years already. We are in Taiwan, we are in Indonesia, we are in Vietnam, and our core business is development of solar power projects. So we are building floating solar power plant, ground-mounted solar plant, but also micro hydro. So in fact, we talk about water. So in fact, somehow, it makes also a sense for me to go in that direction, to have a solution to help me, in fact, for what I was doing already before, right? And one thing was that, in fact, it was for the floating solar, but also in Indonesia, we are building, it's a kind of container with a filtering system to clean the water, the rain water and the water from the ground, to make it drinking water for the remote areas in Indonesia and Malaysia. And because when we were doing all these things, we have been witnessing also what the people are living in that, what they are facing about the waste that we can find on the ocean or in the rivers. So again, all in all, my encounter with the ideas was something very positive for us, because today we are promoting a solution in Taiwan, and also we are going to do that in Indonesia.
So maybe one clarification, because the topic of today, of course, is smart city. So when we prepared this conversation, you explained to me the whole story about ocean pollution, plastic pollution, and obviously this comes from cities. Yeah. And so can you explain a bit how with your IADIS solution you can go a little bit upstream, literally upstream, and pick up the plastic and the water pollution before it goes to the ocean?
Yeah, true. I'm going to talk about some numbers. According to statistics from the United Nations Environment Program, the UNEP, plastic waste is the main type of marine debris, and every year we have between 10 to 20 million of tons of plastic going in the ocean. So the idea here was that, as you can see in the presentation, that in 2050, if we do nothing, there will be more plastic in the ocean than fishes. It's crazy. So we have to do something, and that's how we came with the solution today. So our purpose is that we already have some solution existing for the ocean cleaning, but our scope will be more on the cities. So we are going to focus on the rivers, on the canals, on the harbors, on the marinas, to catch all these marine waste before they go to the ocean. So that's the main target, because we need to catch these before they go to the ocean. Yeah.
So that's quite interesting. So the main point is to say there is already some solution to clean the oceans, to pick up the plastic when they are on the oceans, and this was developed specifically for small areas of water, because the existing solutions for oceans were not applicable.
Yeah. When you look at you will see maybe a short video after. You can see that the robot is not that big, so we can wait on corner, but the robot can tool some troll with some much wider to catch a wider areas of trash. So what we have today, and I'm also working with another company from France called Tom C. Tom C is a French company making these trolls. We already have deployed that into we already have deployed that in Indonesia in 2018. So we are cleaning already the harbor of Jakarta, the 1,000 highlands in Indonesia. So yeah, this one is much more focused on the small corners of some marinas, harbors, to catch these and these marine waste. So we can see here the robot in action. So in fact, we can control it. We can let it go around also. We have an AI system inside, so it's an autonomous system. And here you can see the trolls. So the trolls are made by another French company.
It's quite small.
Yeah, this one is a transform, and we have wider one. They work also with the French authority to catch the oil when you have oil pollution from boats, from cargoes or what. So yeah, here you can see in some shipyard factories also to clean, and of course the idea is to make it really reachable to the people, to get sensitive, to have a kind of education also about the marine waste, what we can do. And so we're also going to deploy that in Thailand. I live in Thailand. So with the Thailand Anping Harbor, we are going also to promote the kind of education for the people to have some activities with the kids. They will control the robot and they can catch the waste.
Yeah, so maybe one word about the technology. We are French Tech, so we like technology very much. Can you explain a bit how this is coordinated, how you can use several robots, how AI is used, and the robotics also?
Oh, it's what do you mean by?
So how do you use AI for this type of movement?
The idea was, in fact, of course, the idea they have their own thinking about what should be the use of the robot. Then we were today already in Japan, in the UK, in Singapore, today in Taiwan, and we bring them also some information or some real experience we are having in our own markets. So for on my side, we were saying that it's nice to have some control, but what if we can keep it autonomous? So they are using artificial intelligence in the robot to make it autonomous. So you can configure the robot in an area. We can control with the joystick, and we have a mapping. So now we're talking about mapping, so we can map the area, and we can make it autonomous to circulate around that area and to catch for 1, 2, 3 hours the waste that are in that area.
Great. And so I think the next point is how to apply and where to apply in Taiwan, for example. I think you put some examples here. Can you speak to it a little bit? Industrial sites are very important, of course.
Yeah. So we are already in talks. First of all, it's for my parallel life, for my floating solar industry. We are going to use it to clean around the floating solar plant. We are also going to use it to have some maintenance. For example, we have to check when you talk about floating solar, we have to move to anchor the floating island to some anchors. So we have mooring lines. We have to check the mooring line. We have to check the anchorage. We have to check the state of the floats. And previously, is the guy, the technician who goes on the floating island. They check it. Today with the robot, because there's a camera, so we can use the robot and we can go around and check it by the camera. So that's already something very useful. The other way for us also, when we are developing a new project, we have to do a kind of what we call the bathymetry. Bathymetry is the data about the state of the pond or the lake. If I want to have a real bathymetry data, I need to hire a company to make the work for me. But that company, they come with a very heavy equipment, it's very expensive, it's very costly for us. But even after this work, I'm not sure if the site will be good for floating solar. So we have to spend a lot of money to have some information, but I will be not sure if I can do it or not. So I asked the Diadis, can we do something about that? And they integrated the bathymetry factors in the jellyfish boat. So today I have, it's not really in the detail, but it's enough for us to have a making decision, can we go or not on that project. And then for sure we can see in the marina, I'm talking about the Thailand Anping Harbor. We are going to develop also already in talks for the Kaohsiung Harbor. So and then I'm looking for the north, Geelong, Taichung, next partners.
Great, so very interesting. So maybe one question about just to explain a bit, how was the mechanism for you to find this kind of solution in France? Obviously you are French, so you are linked to France, but can you explain a bit the process?
Well, in fact, it was really by the networking. Last year there was this economy circular exhibition in Kaohsiung, and there was a company introducing different French companies, and one of them was Yadis. So that's how I met Yadis. And yeah, it was the timing was just perfect.
But really, I think it goes to the point that at French Tech we try to make every time we do an event, that the innovation comes not only from the companies and startups, but also from the ecosystem and the environment around the startup. That's a great example. So maybe one more question that is more open. What do you think would be the next step for Taiwan? What is the vision for you here in Taiwan for this type of solutions?
I think that the next step for us basically is that today with the jellyfish boat, is the name of the robot, we are acting already downstream. So I think that one next step for smart cities and the cities in Taiwan, you were asking me also about the perfect city. What is a perfect city? Fu Xianshan was talking about that it's a city for the people. Carter was talking about that it's somewhere, it's a place we can live in a comfort, we can feel safe. But what also about the pollution, about the waste, we have to take care of that. So I think one of the main challenge for the cities is to have a waste management much more appropriate to today's situation. We are consuming a lot. We have more and more truckers. We have better waste management systems. But I think it's also each one of us, we have to be active on that. We need to take care about our garbage. We have to take care about how we deal with the waste. And so downstream, we are here, but upstream also there are a lot of work to do. And I think that one of the next steps for the smart city and the perfect city will be to have a better waste management. And I think that we're talking about the waste management, definitely it's because once we on the downstream we already collect all this waste, what are we going to do with this waste? So today we are also involved in a circular economy. We are taking all this waste and we are recycling it. We make garments, we make other things, we are going to recycle it. So that's also how to integrate all this economy. I think it's another topic, another day maybe we need to talk about, but it's a very interesting topic and we have to go that way.
Great. Well, thanks a lot for this information. It's very interesting. So as a summary, just to make sure everybody's clear, this is a clear application of a French-Taiwan cooperation on a startup that is for smart city, for the environment. So that goes really into what the question we had today, how can innovation improve our life? Well, this is a pretty good example according to us. So that's it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thanks for this presentation and the discussion.
Thank you very much again to both of you and to all the speakers we have today. Last but not least, so this was the last speech. And again, thanks to all our partners, to Business France to be here, supporting us and presenting earlier today. All the speakers, obviously, and the team of La French Tech and the French office in Taipei. Later tonight, 6:30 downtown, we will have another French Tech Night. This is the first of 2022, maybe the 15th we organize. It's free, it's networking, it's wine, drinks, food. You are all invited to join. So feel free to scan the QR code to register, and you will find also the information about the address once you scan with your QR code. So thank you very much again. Thank you, Thibault, Liliane, Ravi, all the team. I think it was a successful event. And well, see you next year. Thank you.